Hi, my loves, and welcome back to another video. My name is Abby, and before we get started with today's video, I do have some explaining to do. I was gone for about 2 years before posting my Where Have I Been video, and there I told you guys that I was, well, basically focused on my mom life. I went from having 2 kids to 3 kids to when I uploaded that video, I was expecting baby number 5. And well, baby number 5 is here, and yeah, mom life has just gotten the best of me. I wanted to turn this channel into like a beauty content channel. And then I was like, well, I don't have time to review beauty products. I'm on a strict budget. We are a family of 7 now, so that takes a lot of financial things out of our budget, right? Because we have to feed the kids, we have to feed ourselves, they need clothes, shoes, and all of this. So now I have been loving giving my opinion on things when my opinion has not been requested. So why not create my commentary channel where it's just me giving you my perspective as a mom of 5, as a 27-year-old wife. Yes, before we get ahead of ourselves or before we continue, I am only 27 years old, guys. I'm very much still young. I still have a long way to go before I become, como decimos en español, una señora. So todavía estoy una señora joven. I'm still like a Mrs., but a young Mrs. I don't know if that's going to make sense in English. Anyways, welcome to this channel, which I don't have a name for it. We're just going to go with this channel. If you are new here, hi, welcome. My name is Abby, like I mentioned before. Before we continue, I'm going to be drinking my Olipop. I've tried this type of soda before, like once or twice, and then we went to Sam's and we saw a case of this. It brings 15 if I'm not mistaken, and I was like, why not drink some while I'm doing my channel? So cheers. Also, before I continue, we do have a podcast called Double Shot of Wendy, where I sit down with my best friend Wendy and we talk about important things like our fears, our culpability as mothers, as sisters, as daughters, and that is strictly in Spanish. So if you are a Spanish speaker, head on over to our YouTube channel, Double Shot of Wendy. We are also on Spotify, and we will love your support. This is taken from Reddit, Am I the A-hole? The title reads, Am I the a-hole for demanding that my husband pick my needs over his parents and let them feel cold for a bit? Oh gosh. I am a wife, so I may be a little bit biased, but we'll see. It says, I, 35 female, am currently 37 weeks pregnant and due for a planned C-section at the end of the week due to some complications with my baby. Understandable. My husband, 35 male, parents are here to help with the newborn baby. Okay, you have support. Since they have come through, all that has happened is that now I now have to cook for 4 instead of 2 and clean up after everyone. But these are not the major issues. I mean, you are 37 weeks. They're supposed to be there to help you. But let me not get ahead of myself. Let's continue reading. The issue is that they can't stand the cold. It's currently autumn where I am and going into winter. I warned them before they came that it will be cold. The house is heated to 20 Celsius. You know, I'm not really that smart. What is 20 Celsius in Fahrenheit? So 68 degrees Fahrenheit, 68 Fahrenheit. Okay. Not bad weather, good weather. I like that type of weather. The house is heated to 20 Celsius, but that doesn't seem to be enough for them. And she complains about the cold at least five times a day. Now, I have been running hot, probably because of the pregnancy. Yeah, I understand. And 20 Celsius is borderline too much for me. I'm walking around in my summer clothes. I've asked them and given them extra layers to put on so they feel warmer, which until yesterday she refused to put on. She seems like a monster-in-law to me. I don't have a mother-in-law. May she rest in peace. And the mother-in-laws that I have had previously with my other relationships were kind of nice. So I've never encountered a monster-in-law, but she sounds like a monster-in-law. Last night, they visited some relatives and I didn't go as I was feeling too tired. Understandable, you're 37 weeks pregnant. And she took the opportunity to complain to my husband about how cold she's been feeling. So, the moment he came home at night, he turned on the heater. I warned him that it would get too hot at night for me, but he said what else was he supposed to do and kept the heater on. He turned it off before he slept, but it was so hot for me last night that I sweated through my clothes and bedclothes. And it isn't just this. When I said that we shouldn't have outside visitors till the baby gets his vaccinations because of his complications and that no one should be allowed to kiss him on the face, he argued with me over it, saying that if someone was sick, they would let us know and only that person could be excluded. I'm sorry. I do not agree with this at all. Let me just say, I've had 5 kids myself, and as adults, we carry a lot of germs, even though we wash our hands. We never know when we can come in contact with somebody who is sick. And in my understanding, it takes at least 2 weeks before the symptoms start showing. So yeah, I agree with, no kissing, washing your hand. Like if you do come over, washing your hands, maybe even wearing a mask so you don't transfer anything to the baby. I definitely agree with the mom on this. If the husband doesn't see it, I don't know, maybe a doctor needs to tell him like, "Hey, nobody needs to come around the baby during his newborn phase." He did the same with me when I said that the midwives insisted that the baby should sleep in a room no warmer than 20 Celsius, which is 68 Fahrenheit. He argued with me that the kids in the tropics sleep in warmer rooms. And when his mom randomly dropped in the middle of a casual conversation that she was going to be carrying out an old tradition for the baby on the 28th day, he didn't even object and just accepted it. Now we had discussed this particular tradition previously and he was totally against it then. But when his mom brought it up, he said that if she does it, it won't hurt anybody. It'll make her happier, which is true. But I said that if we don't set any boundaries in the beginning, then more and more of these traditions will crop up. What pisses me off about the things like the visitors is that I'm only saying it to protect the baby, and it could actually harm the baby, and he still argues with me about it. He says it's just a discussion, but to me it feels like he thinks I'm being irrational and paranoid. I told him that I don't feel like he's on my team and I'm being forced to do all the adjusting while he looks after his parents' comfort. He says I should just adjust for a while till they can adjust to being here. Am I overreacting here? Am I the a-hole? Okay. you know, um I don't want to be biased. I'm going to give my honest opinion, okay? Nobody asked for it, but I'm here to give it to you. Yeah, he needs to do some serious thinking. I think that he is putting his parents' needs before your own, which is at this point in pregnancy not acceptable. You can literally go into labor any minute. You're 37 weeks. You need to be comfortable. Yeah, if they came over to help you, they should be helping. They shouldn't be putting more work on your load because it's stressful being pregnant. Being pregnant does bring its complications. Your hormones are all over the place. Sometimes hormones, you're like, is it the hormones or am I being irrational or am I in the right, this and that? But yeah, I think that that's something that you need to talk to your husband about. And if he doesn't understand, I show him this Reddit thread, okay? Because I am about to read some of the comments here. And traditions. What type of tradition? You didn't specify what type of tradition it is, so I don't want to put my take on it as much because you just said we discussed this particular tradition previously and he was totally against it, but you didn't specify what type of tradition. Maybe there's an update. So one of the comments says, "Oh, honey, you having to cook for 4 people instead of two and doing all the cleanup already is a major issue." Yes, it is. You are pregnant. You are 37 weeks pregnant. You only have 3 more weeks before you give birth, but you are you have a planned C-section, and carrying life inside of you takes a lot of you. You are heavily pregnant. You should be the one catered to and not the one catering. Say it louder for the people in the back. Your husband is clearly a mommy's boy. Yeah, he really is. He has repeatedly shown he would choose his mother over you. You need at least one person in your life who will put you first. He isn't that person, so be that person for yourself. Stop putting up with this nonsense. And this person said, not the a-hole. Another person said, yeah, the parents need to leave before the baby comes if he can't stand up to them. Right now, today. It says, it sounds worse than that. He is arguing about some basic rules for keeping babies safe. Kissing on the face can spread viruses that babies can't fight, and warm sleeping environments raise the risk of SIDS. I totally forgot about SIDS. SIDS is sudden infant death syndrome. It happens naturally. The mom or the dad are not at fault. It's just sudden, right? There is an edit. Edit 1. My husband has been generally supportive throughout my pregnancy and the complications we've had with the baby. His parents are nice people and I generally like them. They've traveled halfway across the world to be here and can't be told to go back just like that. He's trying to keep the peace, but all compromises seem to be falling on me. Yeah, I think you guys need to stand up to the parents and be like, I am 37 weeks pregnant. I cannot be doing all the cooking, all the cleaning. You guys need to help. Like, I'm heavily pregnant. I remember when I was 37 weeks pregnant, just going up the stairs was a lot for me to do, especially because I had a lot of pelvic pain. So, yeah, the mom and the dad need to step it up here. Edit 2. Usually it would have been my folks who came to help, but my mom passed away a couple of years ago, and my sister will be here in February to help out. I think that the parents, your mother-in-law and your father-in-law, are doing too much. They came there to help you out, and that's not what they're doing. I think you guys need to sit down and talk to them. Your husband needs to stand up to his mom and draw some serious boundaries because you're pregnant. Your family comes first. Once you get married, your nuclear family comes first. And a lot of people may not agree with me, and that's okay. That's personally what my husband and I have done. We got married, we had our kids, and we put our nuclear family first because that's our family. The extended family is extended family. We are going to be there to help, but nuclear family comes first. Your wife, his wife, you need to come first. So everybody said that she was not the a-hole, and I agree with them. I don't think you're the a-hole, but you guys need to seriously stand up to your mother-in-law and to your father-in-law, and your sister needs to get there ASAP. I'm so sorry for your loss. I know it's hard not having your mom with you, but I know your sister will be like your second mom during this postpartum period. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband to not eat the food I made for my lunches? Hmm. I'm sorry. I don't I don't know what to expect. I don't know what to expect, but let's read it together. My husband, 34 male, and I, 33 female, had a little exchange yesterday morning. A little exchange, an argument, a fight. Don't just say little exchange. He works remotely full time while I work in person all 5 days of the week. I also do most of the cooking and cleaning. Since I'm not home during the day, I make my lunch and make sure he either has leftovers or make something fresh for him the night before. Understandable. I'm the same way. I do the cooking. Well, my husband loves to cook, but Monday through Friday, I do the cooking. He cooks on the weekends. On Monday, there was a crisis at work, and I realized I was going to have to work longer hours this week and won't have a lot of time to cook. I stayed up until 2 a.m. on Monday night cooking a variety of food items to cover my lunches for the week and at least 2 to 3 days worth of meals for all of us. Okay. He went to bed at 10 p.m. Hold on, but before I keep reading, you said he works remotely. He doesn't have time to cook his lunch. I mean, he is at home. He doesn't have a time to cook something fast for him. Like you work outside of the house. And you didn't mention if you have kids, but let me keep reading before I get ahead of myself. For my lunches, I made stuffed squash since I can just boil a little bit of rice to go with it every night while packing my lunch. Okay, something simple because you need something that's ready to go. The next morning, as I was heading out for work, I started showing my husband what's in the fridge so he doesn't tell me later he didn't see it. What are those called? Man eyes? Is that what they call when they can't see something that's right in front of their faces? Oh gosh. He saw the stuffed squash and started taking one out of the container before I can tell him I made it for my lunches. Here's where I might be the a-hole. As he was taking one out, I said a little too loudly, "No, that's for my lunches." He looked a bit like how our daughter looks when I scold her for something. So you do have kids. Okay. Ooh, the intentions was to let him know I made it with a specific purpose so he's not just eating all the portions I made for my lunches and leaving me scrambling again. Understandable. I mean, when something happens that's like you're trying to say quick so they don't eat, it's like, don't, like, I understand. I understand. I also told him that he's more than welcome to try one if he wants it. I just didn't want him to think he can't have all of it. He wasn't saying anything more on it, and I was running late, so I left for work. You warned him. You told him, hey, please don't eat it. You can try it, but those are for my lunches. You told him. He was warned. When I got home, he seemed unnaturally quiet and distant with me. I asked him why he's acting weird, but he said he isn't and nothing's wrong, so I dropped it. At the end of the night, he told me he didn't like how I spoke to him that morning about the food, and he felt like I was trying to control how much he's eating. No, you're not trying to control him. You just said, hey, please, like, you might have screamed it, but then you calmly said, hey, those are for my lunches. Please don't eat them because if not, I will have to cook. You're coming home late. You mentioned that you were going to be working long hours that week. Is he going to cook for you? Is he going to cook lunch while you're working long hours? Is he? Sorry. Ooh, it upsets me. It upsets me. My husband is the sort of person who will eat half a pizza that was meant to be shared between three people because he really felt like stuffing it in the moment without asking if there's enough for everyone. Don't get me wrong, he generally is very considerate, but he has some cookie monster moments. Okay. Even so, I've only ever commented on it if he's being rude to guests by doing it or if he's overeating something he needs to restrict for medical reasons. Considering how much food I made to make sure he has plenty to eat during the day, that comment seemed to come out of left field and was honestly quite hurtful. But I apologized for my tone from the morning and making him feel bad about it and explained the reasoning and the intention behind it. Okay, you took a step back. You're like, that's not my intention. He's just being okay. You know what? I'm not always going to side with the woman, okay? Not just because I am a wife. I'm not always going to side with the wife, but I could see his point of view where you did maybe scream at him a little and he probably was like, "Are you acting like my mother?" Not that I'm not saying that you were acting like his mother. You were just claiming that, that's your lunch for work. You are going to be working long hours and you need you basically your meal prepped for the week. And you still stayed up until like 2 in the morning cooking food for him as well. So he is taken care of. So, am I the a-hole for telling him to not eat the food I made for my lunches? Is it reasonable for him to think that I'm trying to control how much he's eating just based on that one comment? No, he's being unreasonable. He is taking everything out of context. Now, the first comment that I see says, my husband works from home and I'm in the office 5 days a week. He survives without me having to baby him and takes care of his own meals all by himself. That's what I was just saying. He works from home. Doesn't he have like 10, 15 minutes to cook some eggs, some beans? Well, I'm Hispanic, okay? Our meals require a lot of prep, especially when you're used to having rice and beans and your main meal and tortillas and all of this, which is my husband. He's very used to having tortillas, arroz, frijoles, and the main dish, But when he's home and I'm not here, he takes care of the cooking. He's like, okay, I'm hungry. I'm not going to wait for her to come here and cook because she's out doing what she needs to be doing. So this guy, you're babying him. Honestly, you are babying him. I understand that as wives, sometimes we feel the need to take care of our husband, making sure that he's okay. Completely understandable. I'm the same way. I take care of my husband. I make sure that everything's okay. I make sure that, he's taken care of. But if I'm not here, he's able to take care of himself. And that's what this guy needs to do. He needs to be able to take care of himself. Sorry. I'm confused. Why the husband isn't capable of making his own lunches if he's literally working in the same house as the kitchen? My point exactly. Why does the person who has to commute to work have to prepare food for him as if he's a toddler? Understandable. I know I was raised very old fashioned, which is the wife does the cooking, the cleaning, she does everything house related, and the husband provides. And that's what my husband and I have taken on. I stay home, I do the cooking, I do the cleaning, but if I ask for help, he helps me. If he sees that I need help, he helps me. If he sees that I'm not home, he does the cooking and the cleaning. Okay. So our roles are somewhat old fashioned, but at the same time, they're new fashion. Is that even something relatable? I don't know, but you guys get what I'm trying to say. My wife was working from home while I was in the office, and she still had less time than me. I clock off at 5 and switch my work phone off while she still be working when I called her for dinner at 7. She also wouldn't have had proper lunches back then if I didn't prep them, as she would only be away from her PC for about 5 minutes. Working from home doesn't necessarily mean working less. True, but you're still at home. You still get to take a break and are able to cook something up, okay? No amount, another comment says, no amount of not working less justifies the husband being so selfish and disrespectful of OP. Edit to add, it also takes less than 5 minutes to make a sandwich, 1 second of thought to not eat half of pizza meant for three, and literally no effort to listen to OP explain why she meal prepped for and respect it. You cannot use maybe he works more as a justification for being so rude and lazy. I think everybody agrees, and I agree that she is not the a-hole. Let me read one last comment. No, you just don't have to commute. Here, the hubby sees his wife working late, doesn't do anything, and lets her cook half of the night and thinks he is entitled to her prepped food. And OP does all the cleaning also. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So there is an edit. It says edit. Putting this here because almost every comment asked this. He used to cook, clean equally until a couple months ago. He was in a car crash and injured his back, so I've taken on the tasks that are painful for him or he just doesn't have energy for. He also gets 20 minutes for lunches because of their team schedule, so making a lunch for himself is also often not possible. Okay, I retract my previous comments. I wish you could have put that in the main story because I'm over here like he doesn't have time. But no, so he was in a car crash and injured his back. So that's why he doesn't do the cleaning. There's a perfectly medically explanation. What? What am I even saying? There's a perfect explanation for why he's not helping around the house, guys. He injured his back. OP, why did you not put this in the main story? Because I'm over here judging. I'm over here like going off on him, like, why isn't he helping when he was in a car crash? So it's understandable. But honestly, making a sandwich doesn't take 20 minutes. He could just get up, make a sandwich, which takes maybe about 5 minutes, and he's good to go. Or you know what's an easy food to do? Pasta. I love pasta Alfredo. You make pasta, it should be good for 2 to 3 days. You just heat it up and you're ready to go. And it doesn't take a lot of prepping, at least not when I do it with not from scratch. If you know what I'm trying to say, like I use all store-bought ingredients, which is completely fine. Um, but yeah, I retract what I was saying. Anyway, I think that is the end of this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next video. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, share, and there is this new feature here on YouTube where you can use your hype points. So if you want to hype this video so we can get out there for more people to see, go ahead and hype it, and I'll see you guys next video. Bye!